Welcome to another Kyle Connor YouTube channel video, and this could be an exciting day, but I'm not totally sure. You see, my colleague Jordan crashed the Model S Plaid, which I'm sure you're all aware of, a few weeks ago. I think it's been a little bit over a month at this point, and we've done videos on it and we've done updates and, have we found it, all these things. So it's been in Tesla as per the last update, waiting on parts to come in, and recently got a notification that popped up on my Tesla app that they said, hey, you can come and pick up the Plaid. You just have to pay for it. And I called Jordan and the insurance company, and they said they already have a check. I just have to sign the check from our insurance company. Lifted 6-wheel.
That thing is sick.
I would love one of those. So, yeah, basically, I'm hoping we can go down to Tesla, because you can't call these people. But they've been fantastic to work with. Our service advisor is an amazing person. We just have to physically drive there to talk to him. Otherwise, I don't know how else to get a hold of them. We're going to go down there. Apparently, the car's out of service mode. All weekend, it's been out of service mode, plugged in at 80% state of charge, which is a bit higher than I'd want to leave it at, but it's not damaging anything. And my understanding is she's ready to get picked up. We'll talk a little bit more about the process I had to do to get this thing picked up. But for now, let's run over to Tesla and see if we can even get our Model S Plaid back. If so, I'm so excited. Let's go. Well, you join us all in our Rivian R1T. Brandon is here. What the heck are you doing in Colorado?
Visiting in my R1T, which we are not in because I don't have this Forge Edge interior.
Right, you have the better Ocean Coast in your Rivian R1T.
It's pretty great.
It's incredible. And yeah, I think we'll do a separate video, maybe on this channel, maybe on reviews, definitely comparing your truck to mine, a newer build, and some things like that.
They've made 5,000 trucks since.
It's pretty amazing how quickly they seem to be pumping these things out of the factory.
Yeah, because this is a 48-ish, I think, something VIN.
Yep.
And mine's an 11,400 VIN.
And it's only been a few months.
Yeah.
This one's already got 13,500 miles on it, though.
I got some catching up to do.
Yeah, you got, but you're doing it well. You drove it from Minnesota to here.
Yep.
Oh, look, GT3, very nice.
Oh, nice.
Yep, cool. Like it. Steel brakes too.
In the Chick-fil-A line.
That's the way to use a GT3. They're daily drivers. So, let's talk about the Model S Plaid situation, since that's the purpose of this video. We all know, I don't know the exact date or time frame, but roughly a month ago, Jordan had the accident in the Model S Plaid, spun the car into a curb. We then produced the video explaining what happened, how this all played out, and ultimately we called insurance because we didn't know if the motors were damaged or anything. If it was a couple little scuffs, we could have, paid for it out of pocket, not put an accident on the Carfax, but ultimately we decided, okay, this is a big project. And so we called insurance. They sent an adjuster to physically look at the car, and he put $2,500 of projected damage. And I was like,
that's way too low.
I don't think so, dude. He's like, actually, I agree. I think it's gonna be way more than this. I just don't know. So I really want the car to go to Tesla. I can't say enough good things about our insurance company, where they were like, look, this is a brand new car. We know you love it. We know you're YouTubers and this thing needs to get perfect. We're gonna send it to Tesla, not in a body shop, nothing like that. We're gonna pay up. It goes to Tesla and it's gonna be as good as it was when it left. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty amazing. I thought this thing was going to go to Joe Schmo body shop or whatever, get fixed, and then we would just sell it. But it turns out when it went into Tesla, we got the original invoice report, which we have a whole video on detailing everything. Just about $10,000 worth of suspension work, which isn't cheap. Needed a new steering rack, needed new dampers up front, needed all new suspension linkages in the rear. On the left side, but they said the motors are fine, not even slightly compromised, and the battery pack's fine and no scuffing, and like couldn't have been a better hit for it, honestly.
Yeah, you got pretty lucky.
Yeah, or I think luckier would have been totaled.
Well, yeah, I always say when people drive my cars, like, don't bring it back to me unless it's totaled or in perfect shape still.
Yep, exactly. That's my thing too. But if we are going to have to deal with damage, this is really not that big of a deal.
No
airbags deployed, nothing like that. And so Tesla spent, basically, we lost the car. We have a whole video of us looking for the Model S Plaid. And to all of our surprise, it had been, from the moment it arrived at Tesla, put inside on a lift and sat there.
which is like the least Tesla thing ever.
The least Tesla thing ever. And so it sat on a lift for over a month, clogging up a bay in a temperature-controlled, non-sun environment. So the paint, the interior never got hot. Hopefully we don't have any baked-in water spots. We'll talk about that later on. But ultimately, I think the car had the best case scenario for repair. Top level service. We became really good friends with our service advisor here at Tesla, who's an amazing guy. He actually also did all the work for our Model 3, or arranged all of it, which went in, and we have a whole videos on that. And then just randomly, I got a message on my Tesla app a couple weeks ago, and this is on this channel as well, where they're like, hey, we're like almost done with your car. Can you bring the Martian wheels to go on? Because again, 2 were damaged in the accident. And I ordered a set of new Martian wheels, MW05s from Drew, a set of 2 with tires. So Drew had them installed. I then brought them to Colton to have them detailed. That's on this channel. He coated them and then did some sort of top coat. We'll talk about that on out of spec detailing. A little bit of an experiment, 2 different types of coatings on the Martian wheels, and we'll see how they hold up over time, basically. Colton then dropped those off at Tesla after he had finished them for me, which was really nice of him. And now they basically said, hey, you're good to come pick up the car.
Sweet.
That's amazing. I can't believe it only took 4 weeks.
Yeah, that's actually pretty darn good.
Really good. And so I can't wait to go get the car. Hopefully it's all good. I'm a little bit in the gray area of how do we actually get the thing, because I could just walk up to Tesla, it's out of service mode, and take the car, which I was thinking about doing yesterday because I wanted to shoot a video with it. But somewhere in the app it says once we receive final payment, we're good to go, and it still shows an outstanding balance. So I wasn't like, I'm not going to go steal my car from Tesla without this all being sorted. But ultimately the insurance company is going to send a check to Tesla, which I believe they already have, but it also has my name on it. And so I need to physically sign this check.
It's basically saying that you're agreeing that the work has been done and that they can get payment.
So that's what we're going to go find out, how this whole process works, and hopefully we'll be able to get it in this vlog. Also, when the car was originally adjusted or looked at from the insurance adjuster, he had mentioned that the front quarter panel would have to be painted. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. Wasn't there like a dent or something from the liner rubbing or something like that?
Yeah, something was a little bit off. But apparently Tesla hasn't painted it.
Okay.
And they say the car's fine to get picked up.
Well, that's great news.
So I would much prefer for whatever happened with that little tiny movement in the metal to be considered within spec.
Yeah, have Colton maybe make it perfect.
And we can PDR it or whatever, but not have the whole side of the car painted, because then you'll have to blend the door and the hood.
It'll never look the same.
It'll never look the same. It'll never have the great factory quality paintwork. Actually, hold the camera up a little bit. Look what's behind us. A original Ioniq electric.
Yeah, those are not common.
No, and one of the most efficient EVs on the market. So for all the energy he's saving, we're burning.
Yeah, with our 2.06 miles per kilowatt hour.
Yeah, and driving so gently, by the way, for that 2 miles.
I was getting like 1.5 yesterday on the interstate.
They're not efficient, these vehicles.
No.
Great. So let's head over to Tesla. It's only about 15 minutes from the house. We're already halfway there, and see if we can get this car. I can't wait, but I am really curious. That's the one outstanding question. What is going on with that quarter panel?
One way to find out.
Yep, let's go.
Okay.
Good.
Yep.
So here we are pulling up to the Tesla service center. You and I have been on this road many times. I'm looking over here at the chargers, and I'm not seeing my car. Up front, maybe? Let's get across the street and not get T-boned. Let's go see what's going on in here. So we have failed air suspension Model S.
Nothing new there.
That signature red Model S was in a previous vlog with failed air suspension. It's still looking a little sad, if you ask me. Where the heck is my car? Let's look over here to the right. Oh, there it is. Nice. Plugged in. Looking beautiful. Dang, those Martian wheels are awesome. I'm glad they didn't wash it. We're going to bring it to Colton to get it washed. But it's looking stellar. And fully back on the ground. We got to put the spacers on the rear. I think I have 10 mil spacers, just to push the rear out a little bit. But yeah, let's go inside. We'll see if they'll let us take this thing, if I got to sign anything. And we'll update you here momentarily. But of course we won't film inside because they usually are pretty cool with it, but I just don't want to make anyone feel uncomfortable with a full showroom. So let's go in there and hopefully get my car. Just walking out of Tesla now. Look what I got here. I just had to sign a physical check for like $9,600. I gave them my $500 deductible for insurance. And according to Toby, who's amazing here, he didn't hear anything about the body work. They don't do body work here, of course. So we're going to just inspect that quarter panel one more time. But if we think it's fine, we're going to leave it.
I think Colton should inspect it.
Yeah, we're going to bring it over to Colton now, actually, and see what he has to say, give it a wash. So Colton said bring it by. And so we're going to do an analysis on it. But damn, does it not look amazing?
Needs to be lowered though.
Yeah, well, it's sitting in probably normal suspension. Oh, finally, the Plaid is back. So these two are this side was the undamaged side. So come around this way, because this is where all the work happened.
That's fine.
Yeah, they fully aligned the car. Right, it's got the new wheels and tires. This is the perfect fitment. Just amazing. So the fender looks visually incredible. And I love that it has, not been washed at all. A couple little paint marks here and there from whatever, I don't know, but we can look. This was the concern, was under here. But yeah, this little indentation. But is there another new Model S we could look at? That might just be how the car is. So I'm gonna find a new refresh Model S, probably not put it on camera, but I'm gonna check. Back here, of course, was where we had rear steering going on. Seems to be fully changed. We got the titanium lug nuts in there, lug bolts.
Does it come with PPF?
Comes with PPF. Colton wanted to remove it. I said, let's just leave it because that's going to get peppered. I'm going to unplug so that we can run the battery down a little bit. Got to tap the key card to unlock it.
Doesn't remember you.
Doesn't know because I got a new phone.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I don't remember giving them 2 key cards, but maybe I got an extra one in a case. I don't know. Perhaps this is what it showed up with.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Getting the Plaid back. This is insane. I did not expect this at all. And the thing was, I think we probably could have even done this last week, but a little bit of lack of communication, didn't really know. Let's go look at a new Model S. All right, here we are just looking at one in the parking lot, and I would say same indentation. Might be damaged on both cars in the same spot, but at least another Model S has it. I really think it's in spec. I think they just looked at it wrong. There's another one over here I'm going to look at, black Model S with the big wheels.
That one at least looks pre-delivered.
Lights on means a tech is looking for it or something. All right, here's one that's totally clean, fresh, and looked like it's ready to go out on delivery. Let's just take a look at this one. Nice white interior, long range. Yep, same thing here. It's got the little indentation. I think the car's totally fine. Didn't need any body work.
Needs a good wash. Really.
Needs a wash. Holy smokes, this is amazing. Wow, sitting in the car again, months later, actually.
It just smells new.
Smells new. It still needs to get tinted. Wow, we got to we got to start all over.
Well, good. We got to send the Rivian over to get tinted as well.
Let's just go here to service, tire pressures. Yeah, so 4 days ago they finished working on it. I guess we could have picked it up then.
It got finished on Friday, I think, late day.
Yeah, and it's Monday.
And it's Monday, so yeah, they weren't open on Saturdays.
Not bad. We'll definitely bring it to Colton's now and just do a little final look. How do I start this thing? Key card goes here. I don't even remember how to use this car. I do sit way too high in it, though. That's the first thing I feel whenever I get in a Model S, is I'm way too high up. Man, this is exciting. Suspension, medium height, into drive, moves, no weird creaks. Pretty amazing. I gotta reset all my stuff, but default ride height back to low, dropping down. They put a new steering rack in it.
Still has little issues.
Yeah, well, I gotta remember to drive with a yoke. But steering rack feels good. Just went lock to lock. No issues at all. No binding. Feels really smooth. Yep. So no issues at all with steering. Let's just check the brakes because that's important. Yep, working. Not great, but working.
Squishy.
Squishy brake pedal, yes. And I think what we should do is ride comfort, firm handling, sport is how I typically have been driving it. And we're gonna go to clear detailing. Wow, the last stop of this was All Jordan's
trip.
house. My
Yeah.
trip, yeah, clear detailing's right in here. This car really has not been driven much. Just on that one trip to California. How many miles do we have on it now? Software. 3,248 miles.
Just a baby.
Just a baby. Wow. I am so thrilled.
And there's
oh
Brock.
boy, not good though.
What?
Look at this.
Ooh.
Plaid wheel. Someone nicked it in this process. Or probably got in and knocked into the wheel there. Or maybe that was
It's leaving anyways.
Jordan's situation. Yeah, we're putting a round wheel on it, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, round wheel, big brakes, send it. 12 miles to get over to Colton's. No one's driving this for a little while, all right? Do you agree?
Nobody driving. Well, I say that, but Brandon's now driving the truck.
Rivian.
But I mean, it's tick for tack. He's got his own Rivian, so if he crashes ours, we just take
We
his.
borrow his. Yeah, this wheel definitely was damaged somewhere in this process because I can feel it every time I turn. It wasn't like that. But we have all these little things to work out. I'm really going to make sure it drives straight, drives fine, loaded up into corners. We need to keep in mind we have 2 fresh tires on the left side. I do want to move those fresh ones to either the front or rear axle. That way we don't have mismatched tires on the car, but we can do all that later on. That's no problem. So off to clear detailing we go. Couldn't be happier at the moment. So we're back to driving the Model S Plaid and just pulling out, and I'm hearing a noise at low speed, and maybe it's just a calibration thing, but it's a low-end grumble just pulling out of the service center here. Happens 15 miles an hour. 18 goes away. We'll need to spend some time. Could just be things needing to mesh together, but to me it sounded like almost like a deep motor situation. I really hope the motors aren't damaged and no one noticed. Tesla says they checked them. Anyway, the car's in chill mode. We don't need any kind of that negativity around here. This thing's a Plaid. Put it all in sporty sport mode. You're gonna have to go. We are not gonna be able to turn left out of here, will we?
No.
Definitely not. So, okay, that grumble concerns me. Maybe it's just the tires flat spotted from sitting. I don't know, but we'll keep an eye on it. We're going to drive it. We're going to drive it hard. Make sure she's all put back together. On the way over to
Might
Colton's.
be able to make it.
You think we can make it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get on out there.
Getting out there. You know what? We're just going for it. Hardcore. How about that?
Yeah.
That's a Plaid. Nice. That's the way to drive. So, all right. Let's go cruise around.
Oh.
Still makes power. Wow. Not sure it's aligned well. Oh, we might have some issues to work out here. But it could just be the grooves in the road. This thing does tram line a little bit. It seems to be going dead straight now. Got a lot, you know, all the senses have to come in here to make sure that it's truly put back together the way I want it to be. Wow, it's freaking fast. Brandon's calling. Hello.
Hey, did you want to swing by the Loveland EA and do an update there?
Yeah, let's swing by the Loveland EA and I'll meet you over there momentarily.
Sounds good. See you there.
Of course, I promised you updates on our local charging station that has been upgraded. If you're unfamiliar with the situation, the early ABB units have been ripped out, replaced with Electrify America's new chargers, and it's happening right on the way to Colton's shop. So we should stop there, see what's going on, and take a look at everything. Is that Alyssa's yawning? You tell me.
Natural reactions.
So you join us over here at the Electrify America charging station. Oh, my plate is very expired on this thing. I didn't even look at that. We haven't gotten the hard plates, have we, Alyssa?
No, we needed that's one thing we forgot to talk to them about.
Yeah, but different team from service, of course, would be the sales. And so first drive was pretty good, but there was some weird stuff going on with the car, Brandon.
Like what?
We had a little bit of vibration at like 13 miles an hour. It sounded like the motor wasn't all synced up.
Huh.
And then during the first hard acceleration, lots of crunch.
I wonder if things are just a little crunchy and it should be fine after this.
And it felt fine right after. So maybe
Okay.
it just, everything needed to fall into place.
Yeah.
May not be a bad idea to bring it to them for a retorque on everything at some point.
Especially suspension components. Hopefully they torque them under load. Because if you don't torque suspension components under load, you're putting a lot of excess pressure on the rubber joints and they'll fail prematurely.
Right. So it could just be things falling into place here. But we came over here. What the heck is going on? Because all the cables are down. We have cones and we have construction vehicles here.
So there was just another truck here and they just left. So they were working in the fenced-in area where the switchgear, the cabinets, everything are.
Right, they're working in there.
I think they just went to lunch because it's 1 o'clock.
Oh, all the payment terminals are off. All the side plates are off.
They probably did that because they likely need to access the serial numbers on the backside to commission them.
Ah, so you think they're being commissioned today? So maybe as soon,
not starting today.
Starting today, but as soon as maybe this evening or even tomorrow.
We got to come back tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah, might be it.
And so what's interesting is that they all have the old 350 kilowatt labels. They're not hyper fast.
Oh,
I think that's the
they just put those on too. Those weren't there.
The charger IDs and the speed labels were not here yesterday when I swung.
Why aren't they putting the new labels on?
That's a great question.
I'm just glad they aren't, because those are dumb anyway. But
so my suspicion was correct that all three are going to be 350 kilowatt units, because I peeked in the fenced-in area yesterday. There's 3 of the new style cabinets.
Right, so we're not a balanced site. We get full dedicated power, baby.
Exactly.
And they're all 350s.
Yes, but they left the 175 kilowatt cabinet for the single ABB unit for Chatamo.
Right.
Which is a very interesting choice.
I'm fine with it as a Leaf driver. Words
I never thought would come out of Kyle Connor's mouth. But let's see if we can see anything, because they've got some.
Right, we just we'll make caution not to touch anything.
Yeah, but we'll just see if we can see anything visually.
Right, so they left the cables all on the ground.
So
these
plates must be inside to access it. They must open as a door.
That would be my guess.
The panel is likely inside, but they do have them unlocked. So, but we're not going to touch anything.
Right.
But it's looking promising.
Interesting, they're even thinking about commissioning this one or doing something with this one, but this was just fully functional the other day.
They likely just have to recommission the whole site. It's probably just an internal process.
Okay.
Would be my suspicion.
Yeah, because they got the card readers out on all of them. Neato. I can't wait to see these things going.
So they've got the ABB cabinet open as well.
Oh, okay, so they're doing something.
They've got all the locks off of the switch gear, so they can turn the breakers and stuff on and off. But the new BTC cabinets don't seem to be open, or at least as far as I can tell.
All right, well,
it's looking promising. Great news.
Yeah, I'm really thinking we'll be able to get this thing, be able to charge it, within the next 24 hours, perhaps.
Yeah, 24 to 48. Commissionings are usually pretty quick if everything goes well, but they don't always go well.
Okay, so fingers crossed. And man, I can't wait to have this site up and running and a full dedicated power for each one of these things.
We got to stress test this site.
Well, we have Lucid Air and Humber EV coming.
Yeah, but even before that, we got to bring both Rivians and the Plaid.
Yep.
And see what happens.
Yep, okay, I love it. We'll just max this sucker out as soon as possible. Can't wait. This is so exciting. The new units looking good. And I'm so happy they left Chatamo. I'm actually not. I really don't care. But yeah, it does look a little bit odd having one old one and the new ones over here.
Yeah, it's especially odd. I saw there's a site in Virginia that was originally the old BTC hardware, and they left the one old BTC dispenser, and it just looks kind of dumb. Why didn't they just make one version that has 2 cables and 1 Chatamo?
Well, because Chatamo's kind of dead.
True.
Yeah, I think this is fine. Nice. Well, can't wait to do this. I just hope they don't have to pull the whole site down again when they decide to rip this one out. Because that would be kind of a bummer.
In theory, they shouldn't have to, but that doesn't mean they won't.
Right. Well, we'll see. Anyway, good progress update here. Let's jump back in the Model S. I'm going to do some more stress testing on this to make sure that it doesn't explode itself.
Yeah, you got to do more launches, of course.
Yeah, I haven't launched it fully yet. I've been rolling into it, just seeing. I don't want to try and break it. I just want to make sure it can handle the abuse. And then we're going right to Colton's shop. So I'll call Colton and let him know we're coming, because he doesn't know we're coming.
Probably a good idea to let him know.
Yeah.
He's at lunch.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'll have my drink.
I don't know how you could forget about it. I already drank my whole one. You've got like.
Oh, this lasts me all day. I'm a slow sipper with this. And we have arrived at out of spec detailing, clear detailing. We haven't told Colton we're coming yet though. So, hello.
Plaid.
How are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Sorry to just drop in, but your phone was off.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And I did even called the multiple times in case you had it in the do not disturb.
I don't know.
So what you got in here?
Working on a GLS 580 right now.
Oh, spicy V8 GLS. That thing looks nice. And what is your initial impression of Mercedes paint quality?
Well, I made a video on it.
Oh, so there's a video coming on out of spec detailing on
I
this.
want to show you this.
Okay, let's take a look. Sorry to barge in with the camera on.
Literally, totally fine. I want your impression on what happened there.
Oh boy, I can even see it from far away. Okay, so is the paint even dented a little bit here? There's a lot of scooping action.
Well, and notice this like blend line here.
So Mercedes painted it. Allegedly.
I think so.
What's the paint meter say?
Paint meter was like perfect around it.
Oh, okay, that's weird.
So I think what happened here is under the color coat, so not on the actual.
It looks terrible
It's
from
not
here.
bad.
On a brand new, what is this thing, 120,000?
Yep.
Something like that? Because this is the spicy, it's a 580.
700 miles on it.
Brand new.
Yeah.
Damn. But what a spec though. White
Yes.
with black. This
Yep.
thing looks great.
Yep.
Same owner as the RSQ8 we saw in here before.
Absolutely.
Amazing. This thing and the black badges, trailer hitch. Oh, I like this spec.
Yeah.
This is a good spec. 4-liter twin turbo V8 hot V. It's not even the AMG one. You don't need the AMG in one of these.
No.
This thing rocks.
Yeah. Air suspension is this amazing ride quality, so quiet.
Yeah, Mercedes just knows how to build a freaking SUV, and built in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. American
Really?
built. Yep. Every GLS for the whole world is built in Alabama.
I did not know that.
Yeah, it was just in the factory. It was pretty cool.
Interesting to know.
All right, well, I guess what we should do, I don't mean to pull you away from work, but either way, we should do a Model S Plaid look at. So I literally picked it up from the service center.
Okay.
This is stop number 1.
Okay, cool.
Well, actually 2, because we stopped at the Electrify America station, but stop number 1, basically. All right, time for the initial inspection here. So Colton, just so you know what happened with this car, right after the accident, it sat outside for maybe 5 days. It then ended up at Tesla where they put it on a lift and stored it for the entire time inside, totally out of weather conditions.
Okay.
Then on Friday, I believe they pulled it out and it sat outside since Friday. So let's just say a week and a half of sitting outside roughly, but really not as bad as it could have been. And overall, I'm really curious to see if the paint has been affected in any way, especially near the crash areas.
Okay. Yeah, so crash areas,
All driver's side.
all driver side.
Yep.
So maybe we could pull it back around so we could look at it in the sun.
In the sun?
just
Yep.
initial. What I'm glad to see, I know the car sat outside for a while, not tons of water spotting on here, which is good. I mean, there are, but not like hard water spots. These are
Yeah.
kind of like just sitting on the top layer. Probably rinse those off.
Wow,
Once we put it
okay.
inside. I'm noticing a lot of
Touching,
hand
yes.
touching.
I mean, this thing was worked on, so people brushed up
Exactly.
against it, and
Yeah.
that's to be expected,
But
I
just,
guess.
like, initial looking at it, can
Yeah.
definitely see we've caused a slight bit of damage.
Yep, I can see over here some
Yep.
swirls in the paint
Mhm.
from it, of course.
Which that's kind of the hard part because the car's filthy right now, right?
Yes.
So anytime you're touching it, can introduce those scratches into it. Yeah, I definitely like to flip this around
Okay.
and see how that looks. So we put the new wheels only on the driver's side.
For now, but I
Okay.
think what we should do is we should put those new ones on the front or rear axle,
Okay.
just so that axle's leveled, because it definitely drives a little bit, I don't know if it's 100% back to where it should be at the moment.
We had talked about that, and I
Yeah.
wondered if that was going to be the case because I know you are one of the most like
Particular
Yeah.
things, yeah. So
Yeah.
noticing, I just need to spend a little bit more time with it. A lot of it could just be new tires on the left, old tires on the right.
Yeah.
And by old, 3,200 miles, but still had been used, and you can see even a little bit of wear over here.
Good.
So I mean, the car's meant to be driven, but
Yep.
I think I need to play around with the wheel and tire setup to really
Yeah.
be sure of what, if it's a default or a defect of fixing it or not. But yeah, let's flip it around and take a look on the driver's side. Well, now we have the affected area into the sunlight here. We're just taking a look at everything. Colton pointed out that this little indentation that we were looking at Tesla wasn't really the main issue. It was actually this, which is a small little crack in the quarter panel, about half the size, quarter of the size of my fingernail.
Yep.
And you can definitely tell, okay, it's not 100% lining up here.
Right.
But what do you think we should do? Should we go back and get that fixed, or what do you think?
I mean, my personal opinion is that area is going to get beat up anyway. The hard part with this is likely they would have to massage that out, and then they're going to repaint it, and then trying to rematch that paint. My personal opinion would be to leave it.
Yeah.
And just let it be,
I
unfortunately.
agree, because the downside of fixing that little tiny thing, which is all the way down there, and honestly, we've seen Teslas delivered with worse issues than that, let's be honest,
Yeah, for sure.
would be having to replace the entire quarter panel because of the tear, and then painting this whole thing, painting the bumper, painting the hood, painting the driver's door and the A-pillar.
Yeah, you could. I mean, a good shop could probably match that, but like, yeah, you're definitely going to have to repaint that fender after they get it massaged out, body worked out, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about leaving it.
I would leave it personally.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think that if it was like a massive dent in there, or like it was like really ripped or cracked, maybe that'd be a different situation. But I personally don't think that that's like the end of the world.
I agree 100%. But wow, doesn't this thing just look amazing? Blacked out Model S, white seats.
It looks pretty good. It's a little dirty, but
It's a little dirty, yeah, of course.
nothing to complain about there. Yeah, initial thoughts here, like looking at this, obviously there's some work going on. Unfortunately, as you and I talked about, this paint is about as soft as warm butter, essentially. So kind of the tricky thing here is you and I are going to have to figure out if you want to leave that stuff or if we need to go back in and repolish it, because likely to do that, we got to take the coating off, essentially.
Yep.
Recoat it, go through kind of the whole process.
But that could make a pretty interesting video series, honestly, doing something like that.
Sure.
Because, the ceramic coating is there to protect the car, but it's not there to prevent scratches, especially with this much dirt on it. So repairing a ceramic coated, especially a freshly ceramic coated car, could be a really interesting video series that we do.
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
I would be open to that. I also think we can build the insurance company for all of that.
So without a doubt, and I've actually done that a few times with clients. So say, you got a side impact in this case of one of my clients. We had to redo the whole car because it got hit here. 2 panels were repainted. The body shop went around and decided to buff the car for whatever reason, took all the coating off. So we had to bill the insurance for it, but happy to help in any way possible, giving invoices, talking to insurance agents, whatever needs to happen.
Yeah, and our insurance company has been wonderful to work with. I don't think it'll be an issue at all. And then really, I say let's get it in. Let's just give it a quick wash, see if we see any damage, and then we'll be able to really make a determination if we need to actually go back in and repair any of this damage. So pretty sick. I just can't, I had no idea. I didn't wake up today expecting to get the car back, and they're just like, yeah, it's ready to go. So let's pull it in.
All right, it's basically clean at this point. I don't even know if we need to hand wash it. Just kidding, but look how much nicer that immediately looks.
So we just finished up lunch at Chili's, which turned out to be truly fantastic. And the reason we ate over here after swinging by the detailing shop was because we wanted to see the chargers, as being worked on. And guess what? The suckers are on. They all show as unavailable at the moment. And interestingly, they're showing 2 posts. So they need some software updates because it's showing like the original 2 connector style. But the screens are on and the ABB unit is off, but they are working on it today. And so I think maybe even as soon as tonight, we'll be able to try these. Worst case, I think tomorrow.
I would agree with that.
So coming to a vlog near you soon. So there you go. Big news. Glad we had lunch over here for that. Got to see them turned on. And they didn't look like they brought an electric car, so we might be the first ones to plug into that. Left foot hard on the brake, flooring it with the right, front end dropping down. We got traffic coming, so... And we're off. I love the noise this thing makes. Just sounds like it's straining itself to bits. It's amazing. So Alyssa, we've been back and forth. We came over here to clear detailing. We shot a whole out-of-spec detailing episode on the Plaid, taking a look at everything. Honestly, I think definitely a lot of scratches were induced in that process, sadly. Also, my steering wheel's got that weird issue as well. So definitely you know, the car's had a rough couple of weeks, I would say. So we're going to go probably through the whole process again with Colton, you know, fixing those scratches individually, removing the coating, and then going back and making it perfect and starting fresh. I think the goal here is he was really gentle in the first side of things, so there's a lot of paint left to work with, and I think, yeah, let's just get it to how it was beforehand. So I'll work with the insurance company and see if they'll cover that. My guess is they will, since we have everything you know, documented, especially through video, that it'll be hard for them not to do all that. So that's sort of the plan there. The car is actually driving better. I think everything kind of needed to just fall into place.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
feeling really
feels
good. Yeah.
All those rock chips, though.
Yeah, quite a bit of chips on the car, and that's just what happens when you drive these things. They certainly get used, and that's what, you know, we knew going into it. So, all right, off to home now. I think we're gonna film some Rivian stuff, maybe do the Electrify America station if that opens up. I'll keep an eye on the app.
But is the app going to be accurate?
App may not be accurate. Anyway, we'll be going there late tonight to go plug in either way to see if they'll work.
Wow, that's invigorating.
All right, well, Brandon's in the Rivian behind us, in our Rivian, and off we go then to the Electrify America station. No, off we go to home. Sorry, yes, home. And welcome home to the driveway. We have the e-tron, the Sprinter, the Smart, the Leaf, and the Range Rover are in the garage. We have Brandon's Rivian, the Model S, and my Rivian, and we're going to try and rearrange a little bit to get as much as we can in the driveway. We are in the starting processes of looking for a warehouse because we have plenty more cars coming, and we don't even have any test cars here at the moment.
It's a problem.
It's a real problem. So we're looking into getting a storage warehouse where we can keep especially things like the Sprinter and the Leaf and the Range Rover that may not get driven so often, especially as the winter's coming, and just kind of having the e-tron and either the Rivian or Tesla here for the most part. So
it's the most first world problem you could have, having too many cars to fit in the driveway and the garage. Yeah,
the problems don't really suck here, I'll say.
But it's still a problem.
But our lawn sucks. But we rent the house, and I'm supposed to cut the grass. We do that.
There's nothing to cut.
That's the thing.
No, we're talking about the grass and how there's nothing to cut.
Here's just a bunch of weeds. That's okay. I mean, I've honestly tried to pull them. I have pulled them all, and not even a week later, they're all back.
You mean the weeds?
The weeds.
Yeah.
Didn't you say at some point you were doing yard work?
Yeah, that's probably when that was happening.
Okay.
So yeah, let's throw the Sprinter in front of the Smart, the big and the small Mercedes. And
you want to move? Oh, the Smart in front of the Sprinter, you mean?
Yep.
Okay.
What did I say?
You said the backwards.
Oh, with the Sprinter, I don't want to start it because once I start it, then I got to let it warm up and drive it around.
For like 15 minutes, probably. At
yeah,
least.
It's really not good for it to start up and shut down on a cold engine.